Do we have some unauthorized use of the TARDIS going on here? Because, I mean, you know, you guys are switching days on us already and we're only in week 2. Like, come on. If we're gonna use the TARDIS, let's use it for something great. Let's, like, go back to the 90s. Can we, like, do that instead? That'd be really, really awesome. Hello, my fellow millennials. Welcome back to another Tuesday. And today we're going to talk about our fond memories growing up as a millennial and the 90s, which I have to say is one of the best time periods ever. I don't care what anyone says, the 90s were fantastic, especially when it came to entertainment. The kinds of shows that came out in the 90s, you rarely see anymore. These were entertaining shows that were family-oriented and also taught you some life lessons. You may not have realized it, but there was a lot of that in some of the shows that went on in the 90s. And I really do miss that. That was some really cool stuff. And the sad thing is, probably a lot of those shows, if they tried to air today, would have been axed within the first couple of episodes. Which I think really sucks, because there was a lot of really good ones. So first, let's talk about some of the more adult-oriented shows that came out during the 90s. As a kid, I wasn't sheltered. I faced reality head on. My parents didn't hide anything from me. They showed me this is what reality is, and this is how you deal with it. One of the shows that was a big thing for us was Xena and Hercules. Both of these shows came out in the 90s, and I absolutely love both of them. Growing up, I still do, but I love anything historical, anything that has to do with legends, with supernatural aspects. I love all that stuff. That stuff has always intrigued me, and you can't get any better than Xena and Hercules. We're talking about ancient Greece, we're talking about Hercules, we're talking about the Greek gods, we're talking about all kinds of crazy stuff with monsters and demons and all kinds of things like that. Absolutely fantastic. We would always sit together, we'd watch it every night when it came on. Those were really great times. I really enjoyed this. And you know what? It's still on today. Reruns of Xena and Hercules can be found on television today. And so Xena and Hercules, one of the best shows. Xena in particular, I think is a wonderful show from the 90s. It shows women in places of power. There's this woman who wasn't just going to be bullied and pushed around. She took charge and changed the world. So Xena was a very great role model for women growing up, for me. Anyway, so Xena and Hercules was a big thing. There was a lot of other shows, but a lot of them fell into the science fiction category, which we're going to talk about next week. So in addition to all those shows that were technically more adult-oriented, there were shows that were family-oriented that were geared a little bit toward the kids, but families could enjoy together. And there were shows like Full House, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and one of my absolute favorites, Ghost Rider. To this day, Ghost Rider is still one of my favorite childhood series. I really love it. It's just fantastic. If you ever get a chance to watch it, you should probably give it a shot. So basically, it's a story about this tight group of friends who lived in Brooklyn, who were very diverse. There was a very diverse group, which again is not something you see very often these days, because diversity, that's just a scary thing. We're not going to talk about diversity, but that was a big thing. There was diversity in the group. And one day they came across this supernatural being that was really concerned about children. And they were trying to figure out what it was, and eventually they just came up with Ghost Rider, because he's a ghost and he talks to them. Ghost Rider. And with Ghost Rider, this group of friends would solve all these mysteries and help their community, which was great. You see all these kids helping out the community, learning about each other, learning about all these things, solving mysteries. Just a really great show. Really great show. And I was so psyched when they decided to release the first season on DVD, because before that, only the first 4 episodes were ever released on VHS. Now, I'm aging myself by saying VHS. Not many people even know what that is anymore, never mind have one. So I have all of them on VHS and I have it on DVD. Just absolutely love it. Just a really, really great show. Again, if you get a chance, give it a shot. It's pretty cool. I love it. Of course, as I mentioned in my introduction, animation has always been a big part of my life. And that was a lot of the stuff that I was watching as a kid. I was watching Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, can't talk today, and Beyblade. Those were like the big three that I can really remember that I was watching at the time. And I remember I would sit down every weekend and watch these shows. I would get up just to watch them. I mean, who does that anymore? Who wakes up at a certain time and watches shows anymore? I mean, that's the great thing about the 90s. You were so excited to actually sit down and watch them instead of DVRing them and watching them at another date. You watched them right when they came on. And that was great. It really was a great time. Loved the 90s. Music was another big thing. You know, I listened to a lot of different groups. Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, the list goes on and on and on. But I listened to pretty much anything that was on, but those were fun memories for me too, because I remember going to school was always fun, because I'd be part of the entertainment crew on our bus. Our bus driver would blast the music, and then me and a couple other people would be singing along the whole ride to school and everything, and that was just so much fun. You know, that is a lot of this stuff, you don't see this anymore. You really just don't. And music these days, I mean, it's good. There's a lot of good music that's out, but there's a lot of it that's just noise. And I'm like, I'm listening to this, I'm like, what is this? You can't even call this music. There's not even words to this thing. It's just sound with things middled into it, you know? So, 90s were great. They were just a really great time. And Pokemon was my biggest obsession in the 90s. Biggest obsession. I have pretty much, I think the first two seasons, all the VHS of all of them. I have played all the games, love the games. That was another crazy time, because when I got into the games, again, that's how I met a lot of my friends. And we would spend hours on the phone. We'd be talking about strategy, about how we got through these caves and the guidebook and everything else. It was hours just talking about Pokemon. Like, how cool is that? Really awesome. So, a lot of great memories about the 90s, and I really miss that time. I really, really do. Some of the best moments. So, that's pretty much everything. So if you have any great memories of the 90s, let us know about them in the cage below. I'd love to hear about them. And that's it for me this week. Tomorrow, because of some insanity, we're going to see Kay tomorrow instead of Britt, because Britt was on Monday, which we're already doing this, and it's week 2. Like, really? We're already doing this. But that's okay. It's all cool. It's all good. So, anyway, that's it for this week. Next week, we're going to be talking about sci-fi television shows. Really looking forward to that, because there's a lot of science fiction shows that I really enjoy too. So, we'll get into that next week. So until then, I'll see you guys then. Have a great day. Bye!